All right, so if I had my choice of any cars in the world that I could get, I would want a variety of different cars. I'd want an electric car like a Tesla. I'd want a luxury model car like a Bentley or something like that. I'd want a vintage muscle car. I'd want a G-Wagon SUV. And of course, a supercar like a Bugatti or a Lamborghini or something like that. In a similar vein, sneakers have a lot of different variety as well. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a top 5, top 10 essential sneakers for you guys for 2021. Now, obviously, our opinions on what is essential will be vastly different. So please keep that in mind. This is just my opinion. And if you guys have a difference in opinion, of course, always leave a comment and let other people know. And throwing out a couple disclaimers, I'm not saying you have to have 10 pairs of sneakers. This is just a diversified list to show you guys 10 different types of sneakers that you guys should try or consider. Also, what you have on your feet does not make you cooler. It doesn't make you better than the next person. And I always just want to throw this disclaimer in every video, and I don't, but you shouldn't be judging other people by the sneakers that they have on their feet. You definitely should never make fun of somebody else for what they have on their feet. And ultimately, just be kind to others. I don't know. I wanted to tell you guys that. Let's go ahead and jump in the video. What is going on, guys? Hes here, collectivekicks.com. Hopefully you guys are having a good day out there. If you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, I post sneaker content pretty much on a weekly basis. If you guys want to shop on collectivekicks.com, it's just a website that I curate a bunch of sneaker deals through the week for you guys. So hopefully you guys can find some stuff out there. Also, if you guys want to buy any of the sneakers that I am talking about in this video, I'll put a link in the description for you guys. So I'm going to be going over these in specific categories and then giving you guys kind of my favorite of those 10 categories. And these categories are not necessarily in any specific order, so just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and jump in. The first category is gym sneakers. So basically, this is something that you could wear to the gym, obviously, something that's going to be comfortable, something that you can run in as well as lift in. And I have a variety of different sneakers out here that I personally prefer if I was going to be doing such activities. One of them that I like is a Nike React Infinity Run Flyknit 2, if that's what you want to call it. I just call it the Nike Infinity React 2. But this is a really nice, comfortable pair of sneakers. I'll have a review on these if you guys haven't seen it on my channel thus far already. But really good one. The first version is also deep discounted, which is another really good option. One of my favorite sneakers across the board is the Nike Pegasus Turbos as well as the Turbo 2s. And these are just a great model. I wish that Nike would continue making them. But similar to those, probably the other alternative that a lot of people go with is the Pegasus 37 or 38, whenever that one comes out. Pegasus line in general is just primarily a running shoe, but they have nice stability there. And there's not as much cushioning as, like, in my opinion, the Infinity React line. So it's one that I think most people can definitely use all around for gym. For me personally, the running side of things, I would definitely go with the Pegasus Turbos. It's a little bit too soft and squishy though for lifting for myself. So I'd rather go with the Pegasus or the Infinities for that. But that is the number 10 spot, a gym shoe. But similar to that, but one that I think deserves its own category is the number 9 spot, which is an Adidas Ultraboost sneaker. I think that it's kind of an essential for everybody out there. Now you can use this as your gym shoe as well and knock one off the list. But basically, the Adidas Ultraboost in general is just a really great, comfortable pair of sneakers. If you've only worn Jordan Retros or something like that, you need to at least try an Ultraboost. I'm just telling you guys, it's still really, really comfortable on feet. And even if you don't want to use it as like an everyday sneaker, it's at the very least a recovery shoe because they're so soft and squishy. Now you can go the traditional route and get an Adidas Ultraboost with the 1.0 knit pattern, or you can get the newer 5.0 knit pattern that they've released also with, like this one's the NASA collaboration. You can also get the Ultraboost Summer Readies, the PBs, and the Ultraboost 20s for around 90 bucks, which is a tremendous deal for those. Really good price points. Again, I'll try to link some of them in the description, but those are great options. And obviously the one that I've been waiting on that I cannot wait to do a review for you guys is the Ultraboost 21. So expect a review on the channel if you haven't seen that thus far, and subscribe again to make sure that you guys catch that. But basically, the Ultraboost line in general is just one that deserves its own spot. I really do think that every sneaker person should have at least one pair of Ultraboost in their collection just so they can experience the most comfort from a pair of sneakers. And I think that the Ultraboost is still in line with one of the top 5 most comfortable shoes of all time. So, and actually, if you guys want to see that list, some of you guys actually mentioned do like a most comfortable of all time type shoe, because I've done like the one for most comfortable of 2019, 2020, and so on. If you guys just want to see a top tier list of the comfort shoes, drop a like on the video or leave a comment and let me know. But I forgot to mention my personal choice out of them. If I only had to choose one, I would go with the 1.0, the OG knit pattern. Personally, I just like the heritage of what this represents. And I don't know, I'm a sucker for that 1.0 knit pattern. Number 8 on the list is a casual pair of sneakers. A casual pair of sneakers is not necessarily a comfortable pair of sneakers, but it's one that you would wear casually. My options that I'm going to mention is the Chuck Taylors. There's a collaboration, a Futura collaboration one that I have, as well as just a standard high top version. The low top versions are great, obviously, as well. I have a bunch of those in the garage. but you can't go wrong with a Chuck Taylor All-Star. The other alternative to this casual sneaker line that I'm talking about here would be Vans Old Schools, Vans Authentics, as well as like an Adidas Stan Smith and Superstar, anything across the board like that. Those ones would be good and considered a nice casual pair of sneakers, and one that you can't really go wrong with. Usually the classic colors are the best accepted, like a black or a white Chuck, or the checkered Vans, or the white and green Stan Smiths, or white and black Superstars. But you can get any color across the board because they have so many different versions of those models that I mentioned out there. But the reason why this one's on the countdown is because it's a nice affordable option for people out there to have like an iconic, recognizable sneaker that other people can go, oh yeah, they have like Stans or Chucks or whatever else. Like, they're welcomed by pretty much anybody. Kids to adults like can wear Vans and Chucks and stuff like that. My personal preference would be Chucks though, probably. All right, so the next category I'm gonna go with, obvious one here, is an Air Jordan sneaker. Preferably if you can get an original colorway, one that Jordan actually played ball in. And usually an Air Jordan 1 through 13 is probably the most iconic lines, but I think the ones that Jordan Brand make the most of probably, and the ones that are most generally accepted are the Air Jordan 1s, the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s. So an Air Jordan sneaker is definitely an essential for sneaker people out there, but it's not an easy one necessarily to make a decision which one you buy. Retail on the Air Jordan line definitely varies a lot depending on the models. The Air Jordan 1s is the more affordable ones at around, I think, 170. 190 on the regular Air Jordans, and then the premium ones are upwards of $200 and $250 depending on the colorways that end up dropping. But as I mentioned, you can't really go wrong with the classic Air Jordan colorways. However, they only release them a handful of years. They used to only do them every 10 years, and now they do them about every 5 years. So if you missed the bread ones in 2016, the chances are they're going to be coming back again pretty soon. And Jordan Brand usually releases a couple classic colors at a time, so it's not like they're going to release all the original Air Jordan 1 colorways in 1 year. They'll release one of them, and then the next year they'll release another one potentially, and so on. So they are kind of a little bit more difficult to get. So if you're out there and you really want the bread colorway, sometimes you just gonna have to pay to play and pay the resale price. Otherwise, you play the waiting game like I usually do. Like for the Fire Red 4s, I wanted these with the Nike Air branding, and I waited until they dropped again, which was years and years. But I finally got another pair, or two actually, and I really love this colorway, so for me it was a no-brainer. As soon as they dropped again, I grabbed two. But really, they release Air Jordan Retros every single week, so the best options is to go to Nike Sneakers or Hibbett Sports or some of these other sites out there and just see the release calendars to know when some of the shoes are releasing. Usually during the holidays like Black Friday and Christmas time, they have some iconic colorways that always come back every year. But honestly, they drop random iconic colorways year-round, like the Carmine 6s is going to be coming up pretty soon next. So there's definitely a lot of options out there for iconic colorways, but if you have Skool colors that you really prefer or any other colors that just speak to you as an individual, obviously those are great options as well. So consider that, as you can basically just buy whatever Jordans you like, which is what I would recommend for any of these sneakers. And for me personally, if I had a choice of any Air Jordans, I'm going to go with the Black Cement Air Jordan 3s. It's hands down my favorite colorway and sneaker model I think of any Jordan, so definitely the classic for me. All right, so number 6 on the list, I would just go with the classic white on white Air Force One. Now I could have included that in the casual section as well, and you can again double up and decide to choose that because the Air Force One white on white is a very classic, iconic sneaker model. But I wanted to give this one its own shine because you can have a pair of Chucks and you can have a pair of Air Force Ones, and they're both classic and iconic in their own right. The white on white Air Force One has a cult following like pretty much no other sneaker that I know of. I mean, Dr. Dre, I believe, has like just a closet of white on whites. I think many celebrity types have. Fat Joe might actually have that as well. I can't even remember. There's so many celebrity types that have just white on white Air Force Ones. And these guys have collaborations and $1,000 sneakers and everything else. But a classic white on white is just one of those things that's generally accepted as cool, I guess. So if you want to get a pair that's under $100, I think they're usually around 90 bucks for a white on white Air Force One. They're classic, they're iconic. You can customize them 1,000 different ways. You can see I took a couple of my white on whites and I did it some Hydro Dips a couple years ago. And this one has a really cool draft print. I love this one. I think this one came out really well. This one came out not as good, but it's an oil slick print on it, and still a fun one nonetheless. And both of these are 100% wearable and just fun customs that I was able to create, which I did videos on these like a long time ago. All right, so number 5 on my list goes to a classic Air Max pair of sneakers. Now, personal preference would be to buy just one of the classic OG colorways. These come out every handful of years as well. They don't come out every single year, but you can't go wrong with the Air Max 1, the Air Max 90, the Air Max 95 Neon, which I still need to get, or an Air Max 97, the Silver Bullet colorway. Those are all original colorways that released in their respective years, but you can also get clean colorways themed after the original color blockings as well. So you can see the Magma colorway right here, really dope. Love this because it's basically the same thing as this guy, the original one, except for it's orange instead of red. And I got almost all of these ones, but this is like a turquoise version instead of the infrared. Really great combinations here. The fact that they're able to kind of keep these like OG, but then have their own color spin on them. They have a ton of different Air Max 90s, a ton of different Air Max 1s. They're not the most comfortable ones on the countdown, but they're so iconic, you can't not talk about them. So personally for me, it's always going to be the infrared Air Max 90 or the Radiant Red, as the last retro had them. But the infrared Radiant Red Air Max 90 is my favorite colorway, favorite Air Max model pretty much of all time. So that one's going to be the one that I go to. So without a consideration of a budget, the number 4 spot on my countdown goes to the Yeezy Boost 350 V2, and the runner-up for that would be the Frail Hue NMD. Both of these are great Adidas models with Adidas Boost technology, similar to the Adidas Ultraboost, but these are more geared towards the lifestyle side of things. And I know a lot of people are thinking Yeezys are dead, but I personally don't think the Yeezys are dead at all. This is just one of those shoes that are super comfortable, first of all, geared 100% towards lifestyle, and have Kanye West's name attached to the shoe. He really changed the industry in general with a pair of Yeezys. So it doesn't really matter if you get a 350 V2, but any Yeezy model is definitely one that I think is game changing and one that you should consider for your feet. There's the iconic Wave Runner colorway of the Yeezy Boost 700s that I think would be a nice runner up. But really the classic 350 V2 is one that they've made the most of, and I think that most people have tried these out, and it's true that these are really comfortable. And I think the general public is still very interested in the Yeezy Boost 350. Not to mention every single release still sells out at $220. Usually the resale market hovers right around that $250, $280, depending on the colorway. Higher demand colorways are the $300 or $400 range, and then the older ones are up towards $1,000 nowadays. So it just depends on the colorways that you're looking for. Personally, the Zebra one is a classic one that they've retroed 3 or 4 times, but I still really like this one quite a bit. And as a runner-up, the Frail Hue NMDs, this is another great option. They're really comfortable and they're stylish as well. I got a bunch of different colorways of these as well, and they've been making more and more, at least towards the end of 2020, so hopefully we'll have more in 2021. Moving on to the number 3 spot is a futuristic type sneaker. So kind of an interesting category, but one that I figured I'd mention. There's so many different sneaker models that enter the market every single year, and there's some really cool futuristic looking ones, such as the Adidas 4D 3D printed midsoles. These are created using 3D printed technologies. They fuse light in this liquid material to make these crazy designs here on the 4D midsoles. But these have been out for quite a while now, so they're a little bit more affordable. $220 and $200. This one is a really good colorway, and so is this one in my opinion. So these are ones that I picked up towards the end of 2020. But you can also go this route right here and get a future technology like this. They also have the Jordan 11 adapts, some Air Max adapts, and then Huaraches as well. This is the BB Adapt, and this is a pretty cool basketball shoe. And these have a self-lacing system, so you push the button and it basically just cinches down the shoe. You push the button, it can actually release a shoe. You can also do so on an app to be able to do. And I'm wondering what other sneaker technologies we're gonna see that are more future thought, but these are 2 examples that I could give for current world that you can get right now that are pretty interesting and just another fun little addition to the family. Now, obviously there's a whole bunch of other options out here, so this is not a necessity, it's just a way to diversify a little bit outside of the bubble. My choice of the futuristic sneakers would definitely go towards the Ultra 4D. I think that they're just such a crazy looking technology. I know it's not the most comfortable out there. I like Adidas Boost better, but the 4D technology looks so cool, and we haven't seen anything else that techie on a sneaker in a while, and so I'm still rocking with the 4Ds. So the number 2 spot on the list would have to go to a luxury pair of sneakers. So Off-White, Louis Vuitton, Prada, they all have their like streetwear luxury approach to sneakers, and some of the stuff is kind of cool, some of it's nah, I wouldn't mess with it. Louis Vuitton has some nice ones, obviously because of Virgil Abloh, and this is like an Off-White, a pair of Vans basically that I got right here that super expensive, like $300 or $400 I think for this one, but some of those designer shoes can go up to $1,000 to $3,000, so it's really not an essential. But if you have all of these different things out here already, it's just another avenue that you can look towards in the sneaker space. This is not personally a category that I care about, but I know other people really do, and they really invest a lot of money in some of the LV sneakers and just the Pradas and everything else that they have available, so I wanted to mention it. All right, so we made it to the number 1 spot on the countdown. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on the video, but remember this countdown isn't in any particular order, and some people are gonna hate this one, but the next category that I wanted to mention would be a Hypebeast pair of sneakers. It pains me to say it, but the bottom line is if you want to have a well-rounded collection, it is kind of nice to be able to have like a limited edition pair of sneakers that not very many other people have. So if I had to be an old man giving a definition of what a Hypebeast sneaker is to the internet, I would have to say that the Hypebeast sneaker is just one that a lot of people have high demand on and that commands some sort of a resale value. A Virgil Abloh Air Jordan 1 is an example, or an Air Jordan 5. Union Air Jordan 1s or Air Jordan 4s. Travis Scott Air Jordan 1s, 4s, or 6s I got back there. Nike Dunks like the Cactus Plant flea market joints right here, which are absolutely insane. I can't say this enough, but in hand these look so much better than you can see in pictures. They just bling differently in hand. And then one of my favorites from last year, the Chunky Dunkies. Really, really great pair. But of course, the hype is crazy on these, but it's still a pair of shoes that I really enjoy. So there can be a crossover there of a shoe that you really, really like and you really want, and it just has the Hypebeast name attached to it, unfortunately. Sometimes that happens, and that's okay. And then probably the most expensive shoe that I have in the collection, which is the Tokyo Air Jordan 5 with the yellow toe on them. This is a great shoe in my opinion, and one that I definitely covet. If you're a parent and looking for a pair of sneakers for a kid that are highly desirable, just go to StockX and sort by prices. Then you can be shocked and see what crazy prices some people are paying for some of these sneakers out here. Personally, out of all the Hypebeast sneakers that I listed out here, I mean, the Tokyo 5s definitely have to take the cake for myself. But honestly, one that I'm finding more and more, and actually after I wore these in public, it's just a shoe that's insane. It's definitely a conversation starter because they're so ridiculous. But these Cactus Plant Flea Market Dunks are probably one of my favorites as well. Big shout out to Jen for actually helping me out on their Jenizer if you don't follow her on Instagram or on YouTube. But that's kind of the video. Hopefully you guys found this somewhat entertaining. Obviously I pulled a lot of sneakers out here for you guys for this video, so if you guys can be gracious enough to drop a like on the video, it's much appreciated if you guys do so. But what did I miss? What iconic essential type sneakers did I not mention? But considering I talk about sneakers on this channel all the time and I just love sneakers, I probably missed a bunch of them. There's just so many. It's hard to narrow it down to 10 categories even, let alone like 10 shoes. So I'll leave it at that. But thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Much appreciated. Have a good rest of the day. Subscribe again if you're new to the channel. And we'll see you guys hopefully back for some more videos. Peace, guys.